Rob Smith is my name. I have just moved back to the Sunshine Coast after being on the Gold Coast for 11 years. When I was on the Sunshine Coast before, I lived at Coolum Beach, and I discovered the Niblett technique, and that was probably 15 years ago or something of that era. And I used to go to Alan and his daughter Erin for treatment. And as that developed and I got to know the people there, and they had several practitioners, I actually started to assist them and taught them about personalities and how they can relate to the different personalities that they're treating, and also to each other in the practice, for the harmony of the practice. And I taught them some business principles as well, because each of the people, the practitioners and the owners, basically had a business within the business. So I got to spend quite a bit of time with them, not only with the remedial massage, but also after hours when I did this teaching. And that was really good. I got to know them well, Alan and Bev and Erin particularly. So that's a little bit of the history, and 11 years ago we went to the Gold Coast, and I lost track of them, except a couple of times I went up to Alan for a treatment up at Tewantin. They treated me like family, as they always had, and made me very welcome. After the treatment, of course, couldn't just get away with paying a few bucks and heading out the door. It was sit down and chat. Rob, what have you been doing? This is what we've been doing, and so on. So they cared. They cared about people, and that's what things I really enjoyed about them. As for you, Troy, I met you a couple of days ago. I did an internet search for Niblett technique, and through that I found that Alan had passed away about 4 months or 5 months ago. And I saw a YouTube video of you, which I found out a couple of days ago was your wedding, and Alan gave you such a rap. I thought, I'll go and see this guy. And you gave me a really good treatment, and I'm feeling much better. I did the day after, actually, or even that evening, I was feeling much better than I had. Why did I come this time? My wife and I have been married 42 years. We've accumulated far too much stuff, and I've carted box after box, some not 20 kilos. I'm nearly 67, but I was carting boxes of 40 kilos and more, moving around, unpacking, packing, unpacking, all that stuff. And my back was a mess. I was in pain, P-A-I-N, many nights, and my sciatic nerves were out. I couldn't sleep comfortably on my side the way I normally do. Anyway, last night I've had the best sleep I've had for months. I didn't wake up until 5 o'clock, and I was often up and about, 3, 4, 5 times a night, just to get off my side, have a stretch and so on. So why do I go to Niblett technique? My background is civil engineering. I practiced that for 30 years, and although I wasn't a structural engineer, I understood a bit about structures. Early days of treatment of my back, family hereditary, mum and dad both had back issues, and all 4 kids did as well. And my first chiropractic treatment was in Gympie when I was 11, long time ago. And as we've moved around with my engineering career and so on, different practitioners, chiropractors, osteopaths, orthopractors, a whole range, I've been treated sometimes very heavily, crack, various techniques. And I found with that what happened was often I would actually hop into my car and hear I thought, first of the dominoes has fallen, and usually within a week everything is back out again. So I started thinking about that, because originally, you go to a chiropractor, you get a treatment. And I thought there's got to be a better way, and I used to say to the chiropractors, have you got super glue? because I'm going out again in my back and feeling it sometimes by the time I get to the car. Started thinking about all this, and what I realised was that I needed soft tissue work. Now, the way I explain it to people, some people are familiar with the very tall radio towers. There was one on the north side of Brisbane, and it was just a very, very skinny tower with a whole stack of guy wires off it. Now, I compare that to the skeleton, particularly the spine. If someone was to interfere with that radio tower and start to loosen off some of the guy wires, because the guy wires are attached maybe every, I don't know, 5-10 metres going up in the air. This is a pretty high antenna. If they loosen off some and tighten others, what will happen is the tower, instead of being a nice straight one, will be all over the place. What happens with backs, I believe, is because of the damage we do to our soft tissue stuff, and you guys know the correct terminology on that. I'm an engineer, I don't do all that. But all the muscles and sinews and the other stuff that are attached, if some of those are in spasm and tight, and mine often are, and others are soft and loose on the other side, it's just like the radio tower where you tighten up some, loosen off others, and naturally enough the spine is going to come out of adjustment. Now, if you correct that with getting the soft tissue right, I know the first treatment that Erin gave me, she said, Rob, it was up in the shoulder here, she said whatever it was about 30 mil out of place. She put it back in place, and that made a big difference. And she did that all over my body, and that's what you did, Troy, a couple of days ago. As you work from my feet all the way up, you put that soft tissue back in place. And the interesting thing is, when I came into you, I felt my back was totally out. In fact, I stood, you might recall, and faced one wall, relaxed, and my body swung to the left 45 degrees roughly, and my whole pelvis area was right out of alignment. Now, you didn't do any chiropractic adjustments to me. All you did was soft tissue work. I can stand up now and I'll face that wall and relax, and I'll still face the wall. I won't turn. So the soft tissue work that you've done has actually corrected my spine and also my pelvic area, which was rotated, and I'm feeling just so much better as a result of that. So thanks, mate.